is the free. It may seem for eternity. Without God and His Son Jesus, everything is peaceful and reckless. Happy always doing His will. Happy always doing His will.
It is episode 12, and it is a most pumped up night we have had in a long time to get everything right for God. So I want you to know that right here on this stage, to kick this off, this represents 855 pounds down. Take it away.
Hello, my name is Catherine Zanoni, and I've been around Way Down since 1998. I've had 80 pounds off for almost 2 decades now, and what I love about the 28-day challenge is self-denial is so much fun. It's an amazing opportunity just to get closer to God, look inward, make some changes, and the resulting love and joy and peace is just priceless. So you can do this.
Hi, my name is Logan Johnson. I've lost 55 pounds. I've been doing Way Down since the beginning of 2018, so it'll almost be 2 years. And what gets me excited about these 28 days is just an opportunity to just focus on God more and just love God with all of my heart, mind, soul, and strength. You can do this. Just don't give up. Every little victory is worth celebrating. So, just don't give up, and you can do this.
Hi, my name's Leona Hagans, and I've lost 110 pounds and kept it off for 17 years. And what excites me about this 28-day challenge is that, number one, I can finish the year strong for God. This has been such a difficult year, but it has been the best year for me personally. Many victories, closer to God, and just financially much better off than I was at the beginning of the year. And I am so eternally grateful, and I don't want to let 1 minute pass, 1 day pass, 1 growl pass without being obedient to God and doing everything right and finish the year strong, and you can too.
Hello, my name is Andy Sorrells. I've lost 250 pounds. I've had it off for 16 years. And I got to thinking, God made the world in 6 days. This is a 28-day challenge. Look how much God can do if we just focus and obey. And this is the perfect place that teaches us how to do that. And I just praise God for it. And let's just do this.
Hi, I am Sally Neely, and I lost 140 pounds and have had it off for 16 years. And I love this 28-day focus challenge because it is all about keeping our focus on God. Today matters. We can get today right, and we can know moving forward that as we go through this holiday season, we're not going to be heavier. We're going to be lighter and closer to God at Christmas time.
Hi, my name is Marianne Parsons. I found Way Down back in 1997 while I was still living in Canada. And I knew, I had an instinct, if they can do it, the ones that I was watching on the video, if they could do it, I could do it too. That was 110 pounds ago. I have had it off for many years. And if we can do it, you can do it too. And what I love about the 28-day challenge is I am challenged to pray even more. I am so grateful. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Lisa Roth. I've lost 110 pounds. I have been following this perfect plan of God's designed by Him for over 18 years. What I love about the 28-day challenge is, for me, it's brought more focus, more prayer, more love for God, and more excitement to do His will every single day. And Way Down is my life support. We have all the help here that we need, and we're all in it together.
group to another group, I'm telling you, we have a bunch of loves up here tonight. And all these gals have done so much with teaching classes, helping out in every single aspect, but then the main thing is living it. And we have this 28-day, we're on day 6, but any day is fine. This is gonna end around Christmas Eve. And that doesn't mean you can pig out on Christmas Day, but it means that you arrive at that time at the birth of Christ, and then we're gonna go back after it. In fact, we have a rally coming up on January 2nd. Is that right, gals? So we're going to be, I feel like we're going to launch one of the hardest hitting, we're gonna do this that we ever have. I mean, we go after it, but I just feel God saying that we're now going to put the amount of effort and time into it, and heart and soul, that to make sure that everything is done right for God first, for His kingdom, and for Jesus Christ. So that's what that's all about, and I'm excited about it. So, okay, we're going to start with the lovely Miss Jamie Fields here, and just all of us are wanting to make sure that when you leave out of here, that what God has said through all these saints pumps you up to make sure that you are kick-started for this 28 days.
Hi, I'm Jamie Field, and I've lost 111 pounds through Way Down. I started December 2007, and the first tape I ever heard, I heard the word hope. I did not have hope before, and I just had diet after diet, and with every diet I gained more weight, I had more self-focus, I had more pain, I had more greed for food. It was increasing more, just like the scripture. And so I just did my first Exodus out of Egypt class, and I was down 2 pounds that week, 2 pounds next week, 2 pounds, and I was like, oh my word, and just, eating normal foods, and I just literally soaked in every word that was spoken, every scripture. It was my new food. I just could not believe my eyes were opened to just what was going on inside of my heart, because I knew that there was something wrong, and I kept saying I kept having this food issue, but I didn't know exactly why I was running to the food, or what that was exactly. So anyway, I just had all the answers, and I just have been able to, everything good and lovely, and the pain, that went away has just been from what I've been taught here, and from just every class has been so monumental for so many areas of my life. And the fact that I get to pass this on to the next generation of my family is such a gift. I can't imagine, because there was nothing good in me that I could have passed down. And so I'm just so grateful to have answers. And so for the last 28 days, for the first 28-day challenge you did, I just had all these increasing thoughts in my mind this year of so much negativity. If I was, let's do this because we've just, it's just been definitely God is giving just a ramped up year of really trying to just dig in and find His Spirit even more, with like quick paces and just more things added, and just believing like if I am so connected to Him, I can do it. But just the lies were coming in, and it was stealing my joy. And so at the 28-day challenge, I'm like, what is it? What is it that I need to do? And I'm like, I am just like, just started feeling down again. And so I was like, I am going to take every thought and I'm going to flip it, and I'm going to find the truth to that. And I'm just going to stay positive no matter what. And all of a sudden, maybe like in the next 3 days, just the joy started increasing. I'm smiling on my own again, and you're just like everything that you're asked to do, and and you know it's only God that could have just carried you through the whole thing, so you just feel closer to him and you feel more love, and then you can help others. And so anyways, it was just an amazing journey with that. And just for the next 28 days, I'm just, focused on my kids are doing it, my husband's doing it. It was funny, the other night we were gonna do the Christmas tree, and we just had this opportunity, like, okay, stop, and we got in the love book, and we, again, had answers to, talk to the kids and read the white light of Christ. I'm just so grateful to have answers. because God just comes in and just gives exactly what you need. And so I guess the bottom line for me lately is just have faith and just trust. And he just comes through in ways that you would just never imagine. And just the concoction that he gives for us personally is a gift. Maybe we don't see it at the time, but just to have joy and know that it's for our personal salvation to get us to heaven. And so for the next 28 days, like, what a gift it is to be more like Christ on Christmas is just like, thank you for, just that, pointing us up always. And just this, just like you're saying, this charge is just like, you can just feel it. It's just ramped up, and I'm just super excited. So I just praise God.
It is. There's something going on. There's something going on. That is beautiful. So, okay, so for those that are new, this lady right here has single-handedly, she's a bright light. She's like one of those people that has made a difference in the world, and she doesn't stop, and she doesn't take a salary for it. It's all from the goodness of her heart, and she has done more for I would say almost everyone has been affected by her, because somehow, someone who started way down at some point in time, because she's been around that long, has talked to Debbie. So we love you so much. Thank you for all.
Thank you. That was so sweet and so unexpected. And I praise God that, we kind of think that we have a lifespan of like possibly 420 years or more. And I'm very, very grateful that, God allowed me to find this message at a point in my life when, I can't even imagine, like when I think about where I would be without finding the Way Down workshop, I like cringe inside and get like very emotional, because like Gwen said, I've been doing these classes for about 25 years, and found this message when I was about 35, 36 years old. And then, so now you can do the math, but anyway, I was just hurting, and I was trying to raise a young family and be a wife and be a Christian, and didn't have any idea, even though raised up in churches, didn't have any idea how to do that. And so when I first heard the orientation in the original class all those years ago, I was literally jaw-dropped. And I've said that many, many times, but jaw-dropped because I had been invited to take the class, and I thought, no, I'm just gonna eat healthy and walk this summer. And the lady who took the class that invited me lost 20 pounds that summer, and I didn't lose anything, But while I was out walking, I did pray and cry out to God. And so I called her up and I said, sign me up. How do I get into this? Because the thing she had said to me was, it's a faith-based weight loss class about connecting to God. And so I thought, connect to God and lose weight? That is like the desire of my heart, was to get closer to God. And so, I took my first class, and I was a very slow learner, But over time, I did practice the principles, praise God, and lost 110 pounds, and I've kept it off. And I just praise God for this message. And we were talking about the 28-day challenge and charging everybody up. And I just want to say, like Jamie said, there's nothing more important than this relationship to God and getting to heaven. And so, it's so fun to do it together. And so, I'm just grateful. We just kind of went through the days of awe and then, did a 28-day challenge, and then we're doing another 28-day challenge. And it's no better time than the time when the world is maybe more focused on taking and what they're going to get and indulging, and we get to focus on denying ourselves. And I've been hanging out this past couple months in the History of the Love of God book that Jamie talked about, and I am in chapter 27 this week, and I feel like if you want a kick start for the 28-day challenge, chapter 27 of the History of the Love of God book is perfect for that. But don't worry if you don't have that book, because every tweet, every single daily devotional, whatever class you're taking, whatever you just go on and do a Way Down TV flop, whatever it is, it's all unified, in love for God first, and love for others more than yourself, putting others ahead of yourself. And that's the food that Jesus was talking about, that we get to eat every single day. And so I'm just praying that everybody gets super excited and joins in. And I did, when we started this new 28-day challenge, I did go back and watch the Kickstart YCO show that we had a few weeks ago, with a beautiful lineup of people. But, and Andy Sorrells mentioned the chart book. And, one thing, kind of being an accountability partner or talking to somebody on the phone or being a class coordinator or whatever, one thing that people, maybe shy away from is accountability. But in chapter 27 of the History of the Love of God book, Gwen says that denying is the same as giving. And so this month is a great time to think about it like that and put that flip in your mind. That, when you're denying yourself that food that your body's not calling for, it's a way to give. And then in that giving, you're connecting because God notices that, and you're connecting to him. And I wanted to say one more thing. I was very, very overweight and very much an overeater, but, God allowed me to go to all the pain of that to keep me connected to him. And I always want to remind myself of that. So every time you pull out your 28-day challenge or your spirit calendar or, whatever, and you're giving back to God what he's asking, because there always is going to be one thing that he's asking us to be perfect in, that we have maybe flirted with on this earth, And so, because he wants that relationship so bad, and we can never forget that it's all about a relationship. So, my prayer is that this 28-day challenge, God is just in heaven smiling, looking down at everybody doing this challenge together, and that this love for God grows and for each other grows, and we get to do it together. So, praise God.
Beautiful. Awesome. Beautiful. Okay.
Hi, my name is Robin Straley, and I found Way Down in 2008, and I kind of did, like Debbie said, that kind of the slow drip method. I did lose 60 pounds, and I'm forever grateful for this journey that God has me on and my family. I was hopeless, so to speak. When I first found Way Down, I didn't know that this true relationship with God is going to keep you, it's all about your heart. And I didn't know that I needed a true relationship with God. And so learning that, that really put everything into place for me. And so I was not probably the nicest person to be around at that point, but I realized that once you give God your all and the weight started coming off and the love and the joy at that point started coming back. And it was like, it was so fun. And then fast forward to here recently, some of the weight, my weight had come back on, and I was starting to lose that connection with God. And it wasn't, it was kind of gradual, but it was also scary. But I felt like I was Groundhog Day. It was like I wanted to do it like each day, but each day I got up and I would go back to my old habits. And it was almost like I fell asleep. I mean, it was the scariest thing. And so the 28-day challenge, and then getting back into a class, and I just kept praying. I asked myself, why am I here? Why did we move here? It was to get this relationship with God. I mean, that's everything. And so, sorry, but it's just so amazing, this life that we have. And so I've got the connection back, and I've lost some weight, and I have the joy. It's like I'd lost the joy. It's like, how can you do that? But I mean, with the testing coming in, it can happen, but you can also get it back. I mean, it's truly, this life that we have is amazing, but it is a war. I mean, Satan is right there, breathing down your neck. But if you want to listen to Satan, which I evidently was for a while, unfortunately, but I don't want to listen. I want to turn that voice off, and I want to listen to God, only God, and the joy and the peace. And I feel like my battle armor is on, and I'm like, whatever test comes at me, I'm just not upset. I'm like, okay, God, that's just what my test is today. And I can laugh about it, so to speak. It doesn't throw me into a tailspin and I start eating or whatever because woe is me, I had this test. It's like, no, God is testing me to see, do I love him? Do I want to obey him? Or do I obey myself? I mean, it's so much fun to obey God. He gives back so much more. And I'd forgotten that. So I've gotten that back. I'm eternally grateful. I'm so very grateful, and just grateful to be here. And I just have to say, anyone out there that's struggling, just don't give up. I mean, it's so worth it just to do whatever you want. And then you get that relationship back with God, and it's fun, and there's joy and peace and love. And you can't outgive God. I mean, God loves us so much. And anyway, I just love God, and I'm just so grateful. Thank you.
Oh, beautiful.
That was so moving. So thank you for your honesty, all of you. And I'm just honored to be up here with all of you, with you, Gwen. And I guess I'll be real quick, brief testimony. I actually found this when I was like 17 years old, just in high school, and but had struggled with weight, with dabbling into some eating disorder too, and trying to find an answer there. And so now here, I guess, I don't know, I'm losing count. What is that, 20-something years? But that I've found this and being able to put this teaching, this weight on message into practice, and it's been amazing. I mean, honestly, and like you said, I mean, you think about where you would have been, the path you were on, and I back up what you said too, Jamie. I mean, and I know you all, you have children yourselves too, and grandchildren now, and but to be able to put this into practice and then help our children, it's amazing, really, and you can't put a price tag on that. And I'm just thinking what you guys were saying here, this is just such a live, everyday thing. It's not like a one moment, like a one baptism, a one day thing. It's you hear the word, you put it into practice, and then it's every day choosing. And like, Robin said, there are tests that come our way, and how do we, handle that? And so I am grateful for these classes, for these books, and I know we all have our favorite chapters and our favorite class videos, and if it's okay, Gwen, if I could share too, I don't know if everyone knows about Wait On TV. So I am on staff with Way Down, and so I've gotten to be a part of just the production team, and so a big thing that's released recently is on Way Down TV. We've just added all of the classes for everybody, where you can go on and watch any class you want, anytime you want. You can do a whole class in a week if you want. You can do, you can hop around. It's awesome. So I know we are very grateful, and so just if I can speak on behalf of the Way Down staff and Gwen, if that's okay, and I know that's something that a lot of people were asking for, and it was about a year and a half ago we got to kind of switch over to this new, I don't want to get too technical here, but just this new platform where it was better technology. It was, we were able to put all of our classes out on a Way Down app that was then on Apple and Android and Roku and Fire and all these things that I don't even know half of what they are, but I know you do. And whatever device you have, that's what you want that instant access. And so it was a big deal when we made that big transition over to that, and it was very exciting, and there was a lot of work that went behind that, and so then a year and a half later, here we are, that now with all the support of everyone out there, all of you, that now we're able to add the classes back in and make that part of it. And so, for people who are brand new to Way Down, they may be like, whoa, there's all these classes, where do I begin? And you can get help with that, with where to start. But a lot of us who've been around for years, again, we found it's not like you just take one class and you're done. It's like, whoa, this is changing me, and it continues to change me. And, the Word is alive. This Bible is alive. It's not like you just pick it up and read it and then you're done, like any other book. I mean, I've got tons of books that I've read that I'm like, that was a good book. Okay, I enjoyed that. But I'm not picking it back up to read it again, like the Bible. Or honestly, Gwen, your books, I feel like I can flop open to any page and I'm moved to love God more. And I don't find that anywhere else. And so I'm very grateful for that. And so that's kind of the same way with the Wait On TV, is that, I've got my favorite lessons like week 5 of Treasure, or week 9 of Revolution, or week 3 of Breakthrough. And so, when I feel like I'm facing a test that pops back up and I go, oh, I remember this lesson really helped me when I faced that test last time, I can go back in and watch that. So anyway, I don't want to talk too much, but just so you guys know that that's out there, and just very exciting news. And why it means so much to all of us is because it's a everyday changing us. So anyway.
And we need it every day.
Yes.
That's beautiful, Jessica. I know that everybody sitting here is counseled, taught lots of classes, and encouraged a lot of people. This group right here represents a massive amount of gifted encouragement. And so when I think about, this life, the Apostle Paul says, it's short. It's very short. We all know that it's short. But we have to come to this reality that it isn't that long. What are we doing here? Why are we doing this? And then Paul goes on to say, if Christ wasn't risen, if he didn't rise from the dead, then we're in the worst shape of anybody, because we're over here fighting this fight and denying ourselves. But if there is a resurrection of the dead, then hey, our light and momentary troubles do not compare to what we are going to get. And so there's enough when you start listening to that, and that's just to me the super theme of Christianity is that this is about going to another level, because your body is wasting away. However, your spirit is where you're going. So it's not like, okay, for those that don't have Christianity or they don't understand what God's doing, they're fighting time and they're fighting the slow necrosis and the death of the body. And you're bothered, but you don't know really why you're bothered. But you're bothered because every year you're losing a little bit more, you know that you're getting closer to this end. It's finite time. And so here you have this situation where if you do not go back in and change your mindset, then you are headed for this empty life that has this clock ticking out. And what you say to yourself is you've got to, in the back of your mind, is I've got to live it up. And then you know, so that's what people do. They live it up because then you're going to die. Then what the average person does is they take that and extrapolate that mindset into 24 hours. So when they get up that day to deny themselves, which is giving, which is beautiful, which is every inspirational person in the world was someone that denied themselves, and it just absolutely baffles everybody. Why would they do that? How do they do that? How can I do that? How could I give up anything? And so, but you take that information and it's extrapolated into 24 hours. So you've got this 24 hours, and by the time you get to a certain time in the day, well, hey, you know, this is it, and you know, I'm going to go ahead and cave in, and I'm going to drink too much or eat too much, or I'm going to indulge myself in computer games too much, or I'm going to be selfish and I'm not going to help with the family because, you know, they can, you know, I want my own time. I want to live my own life. You know, they can give to me, but I'm going to take and I'm going to take. So that's what people do too. If you'll find suicide rates and all kind of things where things start really going south, it is in that 5 o'clock hour of life. If life was to be put into, if you could take it and mirror a 24-hour day and then take that into your 80 to 100 years of life, about the 5 o'clock hour in life, people start throwing in the towel and they give it up. And there's nothing to live for. But if you can find that secret, and there's a mystery out there. There's a mystery out there it talks about in Corinthians, and it talks about these mysteries in Ephesians and all these different things. And this mystery of what we know, and this foolishness to the world, but to us, it is what is causing us to be able at that 5 o'clock hour to turn it into what you need to. And that is going to these books, going to those talks, going to the Word, going to God. But it's taking you at that 5 o'clock hour and going, no, wait a minute, hold on. Before you fall for the lies that is this all that it is, or this is all too hard, or, you know, God really doesn't want this, or whatever lie that it is that throws you for a loop. If you go in there and you start going back in there and saying, okay, the body is dying, but something's got to live. Something's got to live. Something's going to save you. And what is that? It's the Spirit. And it talks about that. It talks about that in Galatians, you know, that if you live to please the Spirit, you know, of God, then you will live. You will overcome by that Spirit. What is this Spirit? It's God's piece of Himself that He has so generously offered through Jesus Christ. And the process couldn't have even happened had there not been a mediator and Christ giving up so that He could come in and find forgiveness of our past rebellion. And then this Spirit is offered to those that obey, it says in Acts chapter 5, verse 32. So you're given this Spirit. So now your mindset is, I'm going to feed that Spirit. I want that Spirit to live. Okay, if the body's going to die, what is going to live? It's the Spirit. And that spirit then is what's raised at the end. So you don't care anymore about, well, of course you take care of the body because the body is where that spirit resides. Anybody that destroys this body, God's going to destroy you because you're destroying you're tearing down the entire house. You're worse than King Nebuchadnezzar in ruining his body. I mean, this is where the temple of God is. It resides here. And that's why you got to have purity and purity of thoughts. I mean, because the mind affects, the mind and the heart all affects the spirit. And so you got to be pure in it because it's the gatekeepers and it's all working together for this spirit to live inside of you. And so that's what he says, that, that in Romans chapter 8, where he's talking about live by the Spirit, and you won't gratify yourself in Galatians 5. You won't gratify your own wishes if you live by that Spirit. And so you're running this race. You are persevering. If you look at the action points to do this, but your mind has got to have a goal. And your goal is to feed that spirit. And so people are more worried about what they're eating for this body that's dying. And a lot of times they're absolutely wrong about what it should be. When I go back and look at what they lived off for 40 years, manna, talking about there wasn't even the basic 4 food groups. I mean, I'm sure they had it because they had the milk, and then they had the bread of life, But Jesus said, eat this. You want to live forever? Then eat this body. Eat this sacrificial body. You want the living water? Drink. I've got some water for you. I've got something for you that would make you live forever. And so he's in there giving you this whole new perspective of now. You cannot even enter the kingdom of God unless you are born again. And you've got to be born again of this spirit. You've got to be born again of this spirit. What are you feeding? What are you doing? Is your stomach your God? Is your stomach your God? How would you know? You can't lose weight. You keep trying. You lie to yourself. You think you're losing when you're not losing. Your stomach is your God. But if the spirit is your God, then it'll become louder and more clear. The fuzz will go away, and you go, you know what? I'm starting over. 28 days, whatever day. I'm starting over, and the Spirit is what I'm going to listen to. And I'm going to wake up to it, and I'm going to go to bed to it, because if I invest in that Spirit, and in that Spirit you'll know more, because it's love and it is joy. You know you're going the right direction, and it's peace and it's patience. I mean, you're not going to get more angry, you're going to get less angry. You're not going to get more stingy, you're going to get more generous. Because it's charity, it's generosity, and it's faithfulness, gentleness, kindness, and it's self-control. So you're getting more self-control. You're getting more self-control because you're now focused on pleasing that Spirit. And that's why we want to kickstart this. When the Israelites were facing that water, Moses had taken them out. They'd gotten out of Egypt. They'd gotten out of sin and slavery to another whole world, the world. And they're facing the water, and then they're facing the Israelite army coming back after them. And they're stuck. They're basically stuck. And if they go forward, they're going to drown. Is what they feel like. Well, I'm just going to drown, or we're going to be killed by the chariots and the horsemen. They're all going to come annihilate us. Either way, I'm dead. Either way, I'm dead. So God tells them, he says, the Lord will fight for you. You need only be still. And that still is, I feel like probably you need to delve into what he means by that. The Lord's going to, you need to have that faith. First of all, you got to have the faith that God's going to fight for you. He didn't give you a spirit of timidity, but he gave you a spirit of power. So there's something there. You want to go forward, but then he goes on to say in verse 15, then the Lord said to Moses, why are you crying out to me? Tell the Israelites to move on. I'm asking everybody at this point in their life to move on. I want you to move toward the Spirit. I want you to move toward God and his kingdom. I want you to be born again and then start feeding the right spirit. And the reason why these veterans are up here and they're talking to you is that if you'll notice, people do go back to this material that God gave us. And it is sustaining and feeding and bringing joy back, tears to the eyes, quivering lips. I mean, whatever. It's happiness, you know. It's a happiness that's inside of us. But then, you know, in Hebrews it says in 12:1, therefore, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles, and let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us. It's look at the action words. You're surrounded by the witnesses. They're all cheering you on. You've got this great crowd of witnesses. So you're in this Coliseum, and you've got this crowd of witnesses cheering you on to go for the Spirit, go for the eternal, go for the hereafter. And then he says, let us throw off what hinders, throw off the world, throw off if it's the pursuit of money, the pursuit of whatever it is that's hindering the growth of this Spirit inside of you. Throw that off. And then make sure that at that point that let us run with perseverance, meaning consistent. Here we go. 16 years, 17 years, 25 years, whatever it is, 20 years. These numbers are lasting. They're real. They're long. They are, you know, and these people say, where would I be if God had not shown me this truth? I'm telling you where people would be. There'd be people that are in this building that would be in the grave. They would be in the grave, but they would have gone through that life in that hopelessness where they were running after something that was they're only running after trying to make this body live or this life last. That's where we got to change our mind. And that's why we're all in this together, because it takes all of us having that goal, and then we go, oh, you get around, notice what everybody with the same goals get around each other. We have the same goal. We're going for it. Yeah, it's 28 days, but you know what we're really going for? We're going to please that Spirit, because by that we will be saved, and salvation is where we're all going. Amen? Amen. Thanks for joining us. You can overcome too. Thank you.
You can overcome. Up in heaven, angels dance 'cause they're free. Happy sing for eternity. With the God and the Son, Jesus. Everything is peaceful and lightness. Happy always doing His will. Happy always doing His will. Overcome. Up in heaven, angels dance 'cause they're free. Happy sing for eternity with our God and His Son Jesus. Everything is peaceful and lightness. Happy always doing